Hello everyone, and welcome to Operation Deadly Omen. I'm Camille Salazar-Hadaway, here to give you all the details on the first season of Year 9 of Rainbow Six Siege. We've got some big updates to shake up the meta, a sinister new operator, and maybe even a special guest at the end? Let's not jinx it. To get us started, please welcome Creative Director Alexander Karpazes.
Year 9 Season 1 starts with a bang, and it's all about Operation Deadly Omen. You'll see huge meta shifts this season, where we're bringing the new shield rework, changes to the attachment system, and much more. The locker system is being introduced, a new way to manage your inventory. The next operator joining our ranks is Damos. Now that he's captured by Team Rainbow, he won't be joining them, but he will be playable. We can't wait for you to see more about him. On top of all of this, we're adding something special to the ranked rewards this season. A super rare headgear for those of you who can climb the ladder and show it off.
Our next topic is a big one. After proving its mettle on the test server, the revamped shield mechanic is ready for prime time. Game director Joshua Mills is here to present this huge change and talk about the new tactical possibilities of shields.
So right off the bat, I'd love to take the opportunity to again thank our community for checking out our lab test server. So why are we changing the shields? The current state of the shields has something that I saw a comment for this and I thought it was perfect. It was headshot lottery. That's kind of what the hipfire sequence is, where it's just a random headshot can catch you and does not feel good, regardless of what side of the shield you're on. With this package, one of the big things was to make sure that every action a shield operator can have follows a very simple principle. Be defensive. Be defensive 90% of the time. If you want to be offensive, then you got to give something for that. This is the idea that reloading behind the shield is now safe. But if you want to go for the kill and you want to use your weapon, you have to open yourself up. You have to become vulnerable. Obviously, it's reinforcing the fantasy of being the tank of your team. We want you to be able to be in that front line. We want you to be able to carve away the territory. And ultimately, we want you to feel powerful. Right now, we're focusing on the ballistic shields. So this is Fuse, Blitz, Montagne when the shield is not extended. There's a bunch of new things that you can do. One, you can break through full health barricades. You have a melee pushback, and it does damage. You can reload behind your shield. Additionally, you can activate triggerable gadgets from behind the shield, as well as deploy your throwables. You will actually move the shield just a little bit to make sure that arm gets out there. Now that said, your head will always be protected. The free look. This is actually what's replacing the hipfire. This means that, as Monty, for example, you can approach a doorway and you can look to the left, look to the right, check if there's traps, but more importantly, if you're working as a team, you can hold your position while you feed that intel to them. As we can see, attackers and ballistic shields are getting a lot of functionality. They're able to sprint, better rotations throughout the map, but that said, a defender can light up that shield. This will actually stop a shield operator from sprinting. This is one of the key things you can do to start coordinating with your team or setting up for the flanks. With the new addition of the defensive melee, this allows our shield operators to get up close and personal. Something, generally speaking, you don't want to happen. But if it does, you're not out of options. It's important to recognize that whenever you do get hit by a knockback, you have a window of opportunity in which you can light up that shield user. Maybe shoot them in the legs, do something in that reaction, but again, not a position you want to find yourself in. So it's best to use the suppressive fire to keep them at a distance and work with your team. So this is the foundation of our shields going forward. It sets us up for the opportunity to revisit different parts of our shields, including our extended shields. We'll have a little bit more to talk about later this year.
While the Siege team continuously works to improve player protection, the launch of a new season is a great time to introduce impactful new measures. Updates targeting ranked mode and anti-cheat are on the way. And here to tell you more are associate producer Killian Callow and player protection and game security director Emmanuel Larive.
With Deadly Omen, we are introducing new restrictions to play Rank. Rank is our most competitive playlist, the place where you compete against other players based on your performance and skill level. The restrictions target two different groups, returning and new players. Siege is a constantly evolving game. the meta changes, there's new operators, new maps, balancing updates, or even gameplay additions. We know it's not a good experience to be with someone in a team who is not aware of the latest game updates. From now on, we will consider a player as inactive when that player hasn't played any regular PvP match for an entire season. When coming back, the inactive player will need to rediscover the game by winning 5 quick match or standard matches to unlock access to rank. The other restriction is regarding new players. A new player is any player who hasn't played rank before the release of Deadly Omen. From now on, besides the clearance level 50 requirement to play ranked, the new players will need to have in their collection at least 10 attacking and 10 defending operators. The focus of the new restrictions is to preserve the competitive integrity of ranked while enhancing the experience for all players.
Ban on data is an amazing system. The goal of it is to better detect and act on cheaters that are ruining the game experience of everybody. Right now, we're moving from an old model to a new model that will be based on machine learning. This is a key update for our anti-cheat strategy. We will have conservative threshold to make sure that we're not impacting fair and regular players. We only want to catch cheaters and the people that are ruining your game experience. We want to clean matches in a proactive way. Our long-term strategy toward cheating and ban on data will be exposed on the Year 9 overview. Player protection toward anti-cheat or player behavior are top priority for the project on Siege.
In addition to accumulating razor-sharp skills and finely tuned instincts, Siege players have a tendency to collect stylish looks. So we've got a new inventory system to help you make the most of your cosmetic collection. UX designer Nicholas Joshua Klein is here from Ubisoft Berlin to introduce the Locker.
We're excited to announce a new addition coming to Rainbow Six Siege, the Locker. The Locker adds a comprehensive way of browsing your entire collection of cosmetics. Players will be able to find their items in different categories, such as appearance for headgear and uniforms, or weapons for weapon skins, attachment skins, and charms. Categories hold all items of that type for all operators and can be sorted by different criteria, such as operator, name, or rarity. Players will also be able to manage their items in more in-depth ways, such as browsing the latest item category, as well as marking items as favorites. Once an item is marked as a favorite, you'll be able to find it in the Locker's own favorites category, as well as on top of your item lists when customizing your operators over in the operators tab. The latest item category lets you find any item you may have received recently, no matter where it came from. Shop, pack, battle pass, it's all in there. Players will also be able to access the pack manager from the Locker, right as the first option on the screen. In the following seasons, players can expect more updates coming to the Locker. As always, we will continue to listen to your feedback.
In Operation Deadly Omen, you'll want to take a fresh look at your loadouts as big changes are coming to attachments, including the return of a fan favorite combo. Which combo, you ask? To tell you about that, we'll need game designer Matthew Lacombe.
With Deadly Omen, we're going to upgrade the ADS and the attachment system. We're going to bring this awesome gunplay and gun feel that we have in Siege, and we're going to make it even better. So for the ADS, we're slowing down the time it takes for you to come from the IP to the fully ADS state. This means that if you have a plan, you're in control of an angle, you're going to get rewarded there. These changes also allow us to have more creativity and more control on what kind of bonus we can give to our attachments. Currently in the game, we have the Universal 1X, the 1.5, the 2.0, 2.5, and 3.0. In Deadly Omen, we're reshuffling them into 4 categories. We're going to have the Iron Sights, the Universal 1X, the Magnified Scope, and the Telescopic Scope. These 4 new categories allows us to give them different bonuses. Iron Sights will have 10% ADS speed. Universal 1X will have 5% ADS speed. Magnified Scope will have no bonus on the ADS speed, but will in turn provide you with a 2.5 zoom level. The Telescopic Scope will have also no bonus on the ADS speed, but it will have a 3.5 zoom level. We are removing the 1.5, we're going to keep the casing, the object, and we're going to put it in the magnified scope section. As we're changing the optic section, we have to redistribute them. This means that our defenders will have limited access to the magnified scope, no telescopic scope there, but on the attacker side, we'll have access to magnified and telescopic scope on mostly all of our operators. So that means Ash, that means the R4C, so if you weren't there back then, we're back. So the laser, it's such a tactical object, it's this awesome attachment, but we don't do it justice, right? We're going to change the hipfire bonus into an ADS speed bonus. A 15% bonus, this is huge. But you'll have to be careful on where you're aiming. So now that we have two categories that affect the time it takes to go in ADS, well, the angle grip is a bit redundant in this current form. What we're going to bring in Deadly Omen is a 20% reload speed bonus. So if you've been keeping up with Siege, well, last year we changed the reload. This is such an important new change for you now. If you thought that reload speed was very spicy for attachment, well, we have the horizontal grip, a new attachment that will be available for our primary weapons. This one will provide movement speed bonus. So if you want to zoom around, that's the one. The vertical grip will remain the one attachment that you want if you want to manage vertical recoil, but we're making it 15% instead of 20% bonus. As you can see in Deadly Omen, there's tons of changes to the attachment system. I suggest that you go in the shooting range, you try all of those new options around because you have to try them out.
We're just a few updates away from the full reveal of the new operator, Damos. But first, here's Creative Director Alexander Karpazes with more on what's coming this season.
A big feature for player comfort that's coming this season is pre-visualization of projectiles. These are all the gadgets that are throwable. When you're quickly aiming, you'll have a pre-vis trail, and when you stop and pause for a bit, you'll have a completed arc. For experienced players, this is not about lowering the skill ceiling. Instead, this is giving you the confidence to set up sights quickly and not to have that moment that we've all had, where you throw a C4, it gets caught on a window ledge, and now you hate yourself. We have a lot of gadgets that are throwable, each with its own unique way of being thrown, and this gives a lot more confidence and a lot more power to the player to do the strategy that they want to do. And for those of you who don't want the system turned on, there is always an option to toggle it off as well. Repel is a huge system in Siege, and it's one that's very unique to us. We want to improve it and make sure that it's a lot more responsive, especially when it comes to approaching Repel and exiting Repel. Making sure it's a lot snappier, that it's more intuitive, and gives you the power to actually play on a wall and take an objective. And we've done some work on the mocap side as well, making sure that it feels right and also it looks right.
Last season in Operation Deep Freeze, we introduced Versus AI and the training playlist. This season, we're expanding these modes significantly, with improved AI behaviors, additional operators, and more maps. The dev with those details is technical architect Alex Busby.
Year 9 Season 1 is a big season for the Versus AI playlist. We're adding 5 new maps to the playlist, meaning players can play against the AI in Chalet, Cafe, Bank, Consulate, and Oregon. The Versus AI playlist was introduced last season with 1 map and 5 operators for the defenders to play as. This season, we're adding 5 new maps, and the AI will be able to play as 2 new operators, Melusi and Alibi. On top of that, we're adding 6 new operators that the players can play against the AI as. Players will be able to use Ash, Finker, Buck, Jackal, Lion, and Iana. Year 9 Season 1 isn't just about new content. The AI will be getting better and smarter. And more importantly, they will be less easy to bait. We've analyzed how they play against players and improved our models and our behaviors, so hopefully they will provide more of a challenge to our more experienced players. The Versus AI playlist is not the only feature that is getting a big content drop this season. The training playlist was introduced last season as Map Run. This season, we're introducing 4 new maps to this playlist: Skyscraper, Coastline, Border, and Nighthaven. We have big ambitions for both the Versus AI and the training playlist. Each season we'll see more content, better behaviors, more player-like AI, and hopefully positive feedback from the community.
This season's operator balancing target is a zombie. And we're also making some tweaks to LMGs, which game designer David Perpignan will tell you all about.
Asami's ability to reshape the map has changed how defense is played in Siege. She's brought new gameplay and new strategies, and that's always great, but she's bringing some frustrating situations for attackers. The first one is that Kiba barriers can be deployed from afar, and this is causing attackers to have issues destroying them, and the second one is that explosives are the main way to deal with them, and this is causing a lot of stress on attackers' operators lineup and also on the explosives economy. From now on, Kiba barriers will be vulnerable to bullets. For example, the 5.56 from Thermite will require 36 bullets to destroy a Kiba barrier. The 4.17 DMR will require 11 bullets, and the Supernova shotgun will require only 3 shells. As always, in balancing, we will keep an eye on these changes and iterate in the future if it's required. After the weapon recoil overhaul that we did on Year 7, LMGs have become less and less used by the players. We want to deploy a set of changes that are based on the main attributes of LMGs. LMGs are heavy weapons capable of offering great support fire. We choose 2 main changes for this patch. The first one is that we will review every recoil on LMGs and make them easier to control. You should expect a recoil in between what we had in Year 7 and what we have right now. The second change is that LMGs will make operators move 10% slower. Remember that we release a new attachment, the horizontal grip, that will help you to increase your speed by 5%, so this can help you to counter this change. These changes should incline players to play LMGs more like a support weapon rather than an entry kill weapon.
Now it's time to meet the operator who gives Operation Deadly Omen its ominous name. Damos joins the attacking team armed with his vendetta and a gadget to help him track and hunt down his foes. Creative director Alexander Karpazis is here to share the insights on this operator's design. Then we'll go to director of gameplay design Jeremy Carvin and game designer Justin Laranger Aluwalia for details on Damos's threatening gadget.
Damos is not a new character to the world of Siege. This is somebody that we've been working on for over a year. And we wanted to make sure that this character had teeth, that he still remained a villain even when he was captured. We wanted to give him that half cape. We wanted him to mask his identity. He's inspired by Bass Reeves, a historical character who could be a sheriff or an outlaw himself. The character went through a lot of iterations when it came to the mask. We wanted something that kept all of the players guessing who he is, and we went through a dozen of masks that fit the profile of somebody who is always thinking, who is very strategic, and who is going to challenge Rainbow.
This device idea comes from the US military, which has developed a type of nano flying drone that we always wanted to introduce into Siege. These are flying machines shaped as small helicopters, and they are very fast, hard to see, and they can scan and spy quickly what's going on around and detect an enemy. We wanted a device that could create a link between him and his target, and this piece of technology was the perfect element. And Defender, beware, because when you see this flyer, this is just a matter of time before Damos shows up.
One by one, every operator dies. That's the promise Damos made when he made his devastating first appearance last year, and it's a promise he intends to keep. Damos specializes in hunting down his targets with ruthless efficiency. To that end, he's bringing a collection of small probes called Deathmark Trackers. These little machines will seek out their target no matter where they are on the map, and relay their location to Damos and only to Damos for a period of time. Of course, it can't be said that Damos isn't the sporting sort. While Damos's Deathmark Tracker is active, he'll reveal his own position to his prey, albeit with slightly less information. He'll also restrict himself to his custom revolver for the duration of the hunt, though as his victims soon find out, that's hardly a disadvantage.
one bites the dust.
To use a death mark, Damos first needs to identify a target. He can do this by having him or his allies scan enemies or their gadgets during the prep phase or action phase. This will add them to Damos' target list. Damos can cycle through targets using the alternate ability mode input. Once Damos has his target, he can use the ability button to toss up one of his death marks and start the hunt. Damos will start the round with 0 death marks, and then over the course of the round, he will accumulate more until he reaches his maximum of 3. The tracker will take a few seconds to find its target, during which everyone on both teams will be alerted, giving them a chance to prepare for the situation to come. Once the tracker has found its target, the hunt begins, and will continue until either the timer runs out, or Damos or the target is dead. That said, if Damos doesn't like the matchup, he can cancel the ability at any time using the gadget button. To help him on his hunt, Damos has 2 primary options. The first option is the AK-74M. This is a decent assault rifle with a large magazine, for when all you need is to just rain down bullets on the enemy. Alternatively, he can bring the M590A1. This is the SAS shotgun of choice, and a personal favorite of mine. This gun is great for making rotates, or for a quick corner peek. The real prize, though, is the big iron on Damos' hip, the 44 Vendetta. This brand new revolver is Damos' signature weapon, and it's easy to see why. In the veteran's hands, it's a fast, accurate, and deadly machine of death. 2 shots from this gun is more than enough to kill anything that moves, and with its clean sights, high destruction, and high mobility, it'll make sure to take down anything in Damos' path. Damos comes equipped with either frag grenades or hard breach charges. Frags synergize great with his death marks, allowing him to flush out enemies in entrenched positions. On the other hand, hard breach charges allow Damos to bear down on a site once he's secured an area. Either way, Damos will make sure that no one can hide from him. Damos is a 2 health, 2 speed operator. His balanced approach is made so that he can push aggressively on the enemy without having to worry about taking a stray bullet or 2. Damos' ability can take one piece of the defender equation off the board, but he can also weaponize the intel that he provides. A coordinated team can use Damos' exposed position either as bait or as a misdirect. New players will find that Damos' kit is quite powerful and very effective at hunting down single targets and taking them out. This can be a bit risky in solo play, but if you coordinate with your team and share that intel, you can get a lot of benefit out of it. We can think of operators like Ash, Zofia, Blitz, or Ying. They would all be perfect for that job. Damos might be able to hunt down operators, but smart defenders will also protect themselves with traps and flanks. Operators who can anticipate or disable traps, like IQ or Thatcher, and flank watch operators, like Nomad and Gridlock, are great additions to make sure that Damos doesn't have to worry about additional variables on his hunt. Death marks are small and fast, making it nearly impossible to avoid once they've found you. However, with the right tech, it is possible to hide from them or avoid them entirely. Gadgets that disable electronics, such as mutes jammers, two-browse Zoto canisters, can help mask an operator's presence, hiding them from a deathmark tracker before they find them. If you're too late and already getting tracked, these devices can still help you, though they'll only last for the duration of the disabling effect. If the disabling ends before the deathmark does, then it'll pick up right where it left off. Vigil is uniquely suited to dealing with Damos. His ability to deny intel also applies to deathmark trackers. Damos is a terrifying operator. His ability to control the flow of battle means that nobody is safe. When Damos is on the board, he's a problem, and he needs to be dealt with.
Now that you've gotten all the details from the devs, let's get some impressions from a special guest. Someone in the community who's played a lot of Siege, and recently played an early hands-on session with Operation Deadly Omen. Please welcome Jinxie.
Let's do it. This is a sick-ass gun. When he's in the right hands, he could be a 10 out of 10 operator because it's gonna have that double ping effect, right? The other attackers don't have that ping. So if your communication stays good and Damos can actually call out where the roamers are, you can destroy roamers. And I can say his secondary was one of the most fun guns ever. Like I could make so many line of sights through like 3-4 walls, like long range. It was sick. Ace, baby, ace! Oh yeah, this op's insane. This op's insane. Key to Damos and what he promotes more than anything is communication and call-outs. It's gonna teach players to actually roam with discipline, because like recently the ranked meta, not Pro League, but the ranked meta is just everyone running around. So that operator would actually shift the meta. When I found out Ash R4C ACOG was coming back, I almost shit my pants. And then like they've even brought back Buck ACOG and all the other iconic ACOGs. Castle has an ACOG. So I think next is Jaeger. Damos is so good. I'm out.
You could play the season test server for Operation Deadly Omen starting next week. Take the new shields for a spin, experiment with new attachment upgrades, and see how devious Damos really is. Remember, whether you're in the test server or just playing as usual, please report issues you encounter to R6Fix for a chance to earn some rewards. We're also hyped for the live reveal of Year 9 of Rainbow Six Siege tomorrow at the finals of the Six Invitational in Sao Paulo. Until then, here's one more thing to celebrate. Happy Lunar New Year!